What's going on, everybody? It's the Hook Cam back again with another film breakdown / prediction. This time we're taking a look at probably the last game I'll do for this wild card weekend. Last one I can fit in is between the Tennessee Titans and the Baltimore Ravens. One of my favorite matchups this weekend. The Titans are so good at running the football, and every time I see Derrick Henry run for a 4-yard gain on wide zone, my heart fills with joy because there's somebody getting bullied on the line of scrimmage, and it just makes me so happy. And the Titans did such a good job of doing that last year in the divisional round against the Ravens, and then I was like, let's take a look at their game from this year. Let's see what they did. Did they do anything different? A little bit. They mixed up a couple of things, added a few more run plays to their playbook, not really to their playbook, but that they ran in the actual game. And then coupled with that, Ryan Tannehill did a few things differently, and it made the defense do some things differently, all stuff that we'll get into once we dive all in on this video. But before we do that, if you could hit that like button, hit that subscribe button to my channel, The Hook Cam, as well as to Jackson Kruger Sports. Jackson is just pumping out content left and right, and I couldn't be happier for the kid. I mean, he is just absolutely crushing it. If you like constant football content, check out Jackson's channel. There's a ton of people who help him out, as well as Billy Stevens, another guy, does some outstanding football breakdowns. Just a lot of good football knowledge. So if you're a football junkie like me, then I would strongly advise checking out those two channels. Now let's dive into this video. First things first, let's talk about Derrick Henry, the Tennessee Titans, more importantly, this Titans offensive line that for some reason doesn't get talked about enough. One of the reasons why the Titans are so good at running the football is because they dominate on the edges, right? When we look at this box, okay, this is not a box that we should be able to run the football against. This is an 8-man box. What the Titans are going to do is they're going to run wide zone to the left side of the screen, okay? What this does to defenses, it's not really crazy, right? It all ends up being a numbers game. But what they do is they're working these two basically up to these two, right? These two right here. We're working this right here. These two essentially are working up to this. That's the key to this whole thing. Okay. Now they shade their defensive lineman to the left side. That's because they want to make this a little bit more difficult of a block. Obviously, the Titans run this so well, but the center does such a good job of getting out and getting in front of it. But look where his helmet placement is. That's what the key to this whole thing is, right? We get that great helmet placement right there. Our guard doesn't really need to help on that because he's in such good positioning, so he's working up to the second level. And then, of course, we're working on this defensive end right here with our tackle. This is an outstanding block by my right tackle right there. Great job. And then this combo up to 36, right? So the Ravens are basically in their 3-4, right? Here's your 3 defensive linemen. And then, of course, you've got your 4 linebackers. Although the guys on the edge are basically just an added defensive line. Really, I would call this a 5-man under. Some people would probably call it a 3-4. It's a 5-man under, though. And what they do is they bring a safety up into the box, try and help with your run support. But what happens is that safety has to fill outside of that thing because that's where his gap is responsible for, right? That's where it's taking him. Derrick Henry's going to put his foot in the ground, get 5 yards. Is it a wowing play? No. But this is a play that the Tennessee Titans ran time and time again in the divisional game last year, which I'll get into in a second. Now, this play right here, just another little wrinkle. All the Titans are going to do is run ISO in this situation. So we're working these two right here up to this backer. We're working this dude. We're ISOing 40 right there. So we're working right up there with our fullback, and then we're working right out there with our tight end. This is just good old school football right here. This is just things of beauty, dominating at the point of attack, right? This is exactly what you want for a double team. This is absolute football porn right there. Really good job by that. We could probably be a little bit better with our tackle getting off to that linebacker, but when you have a 250 or whatever, however heavy this dude is running back, doesn't really matter working up to that second level, getting a good block. And then this right here, Tannehill's going to motion Derrick Henry into the backfield, and all that they are going to run, I believe, is what looks to be inside zone with a wham. Right now, what you're doing to the Ravens in this situation, this to me would be more of like a 4-3 look for the Ravens. Okay, we're whamming on the backside right here. A corner actually tries to get in on this thing and take Derrick Henry down, to no avail though. Really good job once again at the point of attack with the Tennessee Titans offensive line. Now the wrinkle I will say is that usually you're whamming this guy. Instead, they're having this tight end block, and you're almost whiffing on this and working it to the outside. As we can see, it could almost be a design cutback. I'm not entirely sure what the Titans are doing. If they are doing that, that's really, really cool. But basically what the Titans are doing, right? You're looking at me saying, Cam, you're explaining the run plays, that's outstanding, but what are they doing? What you are doing with the Tennessee Titans is you're outnumbering and out-angling the Baltimore Ravens, right? So this looks to be 20 personnel, the motion and a tight end, we got 21 personnel. All the Titans are going to do right now is run wide zone once again. Same thing that we're going to see in the divisional game from last year here in a couple seconds. So we're working right here. We're working these two, this cat's working right here, basically soloed up. Working these two, working to this backside backer, and then we're working what I would call touchdown alley, or we're working into this gap with this cat. And then with our fullback, we're going to basically ISO up to this backer who's going to work over the top. You're outnumbering and you're out-angling. The Ravens do not have enough guys to make a successful stop on this play. You just straight up don't. You're counting on a safety coming down to fill, but that safety is going to have to tackle Derrick Henry, right? So what happens is, as we hand this rock off, fullback does a good job leading the way, not really getting in the way of anybody, but we're working upfield, and then we've got a safety trying to tackle Derrick Henry. That's not a game you're going to win. The Titans do this time and time again. They hammer wide zone, they wear down defenses. This is the overtime win right here in this game from the regular season. Once again, what are we doing? We're winning on the edges of the defense, okay? Working out right here. This is a really good job by my two tight ends. Outstanding, right? With this tight end right here, we get caught in a little bit of a gray area, right? Where's this cat going when you're in the heat of battle? It could look like he's trying to stick into this gap right here. We help our guy out. We're going to wash him right out of the way. My backer right here, Patrick Queen, is trying to work over the top. He's trying to fill into this gap. We're trying to shadow Derrick Henry, stay a little bit behind, work inside out. As we get there, right, Patrick Queen, now he's stuck in this gray area. So my offensive line is just going to wash this dude by as he works, not all the way by because he gets caught up on that tackle, but you get what I'm saying. We got a hat on a hat. Derrick Henry's going to take care of the rest. This is an outstanding run, by the way. Derrick Henry might be one of the best running backs in today's game that can hit that cutback and be successful at it. Now we look at the divisional game from last year. Do we see a lot of differences? No, we don't. We see the Titans still hammering their wide zone. All they're doing is they're taking advantage of it. This time they do it to the weak side. This was really, it still is really popular in the NFL, right? We just work here, working these two cats essentially with these two cats right here. We trust our center to get there, which means that we can work right up to 48 with our guard. Just an outstanding job. And Derrick Henry's going to cut this thing back. You're going to be giving up 8 yards a pop. The Tennessee Titans base their entire offense off of this stuff. Base it off of their wide zone, off of their inside zone, and they're successful and they're bullies with it every single game. This is winning playoff football, and the Ravens, to be honest with you, I don't think they have the personnel to match up with this. I think they're a little too light. I think they tried to get heavier, signing a guy like Derek Wolfe to play as a defensive end, but at the end of the day, maybe he is heavier, yeah, but now he's really not mobile enough to work on that wide zone, to set that edge on that wide zone. We're going to wash him out. We're going to work right upfield with Derrick Henry. In the divisional round last year, we see the exact same thing. It's just a little bit different, right? And this is literally just like that play we saw from the end zone where that fullback's working up onto this linebacker right here with that. This looks to be more of like an inside zone look, but you get what I'm saying, right? We got a hat on a hat. We're outnumbering the Baltimore Ravens at the point of attack, and that's why the Ravens are winning. Now, how does that set everything up though? Because once we work that wide zone, once we work that zone action, now we get backers biting and we can open up our play action like we see right here. Ryan Tannehill only threw 14 passes in the divisional game last year, but he was very effective when he threw the rock, right? And it was setting up really easy passes for him. We see right here this wide zone action. That's what we're going to see out of this formation. We're going to hit a tight end rolling into the flat, right? Look at what we've created with this right here. Every linebacker on the depth chart is working down that way so we can hammer this wide zone at the point of attack. Instead, we roll out with Ryan Tannehill. Easy completion for a first down. Not only does it set up, I wouldn't say a quick game, but a rollout game, but it also sets up your deep game, right? We have to commit so many guys close to the line of scrimmage that we end up putting our safeties in a pickle, safeties and corners in a pickle, right? Tannehill's going to end up hitting this cat in the end zone for a big-time touchdown, steps up into the pocket. There's nobody there, right? Safeties, everybody is thinking we got to be able to step up into the line of scrimmage and make a tackle on inside zone, wide zone, whatever running play they're running at that point. It's going to end up having an effect on the back end of that defense. Now, with this play right here, what we're going to see is Tannehill work this run action, and we've seen this so many times where the receivers run into the middle of the field, right? And you're going to see with these backers, they're going to step up and you open up this fat chunk of grass right into the middle of the field. Well, these corners are now used to chasing this thing across the field. So what the Titans do, they work him in and then work him back out, almost like on a post corner. It's not really that, but you get what I'm saying. That same sort of route. Really good ball from Tannehill right in the bucket. Big time completion. The Titans have found ways to outmaneuver the Ravens on defense, right? And that's ultimately what it is. They can outnumber them at the point of attack when they're running the rock, and then of course when it comes to throwing the football, they're doing a great job with their play action, opening up stuff downfield, whether it's in the middle of the field, outside on the edges. Tannehill's still got enough zip on the ball to get the football out there, and it's putting the Ravens in big time pickles. Now, when we look at the game from earlier this year, I want to say it was from a week 11 or 12, they got Tannehill's quick game going, right? This is another way when the Titans hammer the rock so much, okay, it's going to put more stress on your corners on the outside. Everything is connected when it comes to a defense. This is just an example of the Titans running their quick game. This really doesn't have anything to do with their play action. Just a cool job of working the stack formation, working him upfield, and then on this little out route right here, speed out from 86 or whoever that is. Good job picking up that first down on second and medium. Now, this is a really interesting play for me because this is third down. The Ravens, this is exactly where you want them, right? Third and long. They can't hammer the rock with Derrick Henry. What do? Okay, well, now we aren't matched up well on the outsides. Marcus Peters is a good corner, absolutely. But when it comes to these big physical receivers, a lot of times they're going to be able to win these one-on-one matchups. There wasn't a lot of physicality on that play, but these receivers are still quick, athletic, and able to cut those routes off at the top and come back to the football. Basically, what's happening is that the Titans are now getting the Ravens, because they have to commit guys to the line of scrimmage, or in third down situations where they're trying to rush the passer. Well, now we're just creating man-on-man situations on the outside and in the middle of the field, and those are situations that the Titans are going to win. They're athletic enough on the outsides to go and win those matchups. Now, the second part of this thing is, how did the Titans contain Lamar Jackson? Because that was a huge point of emphasis in one of the videos I did last year, actually, about how the Titans actually beat the Ravens. What they did is essentially they were going to stack the line of scrimmage, and they were going to let their linebackers be freak athletes that they are and go and stop Lamar, right? This is a really good example. Fourth and short here. Their linebackers are probably the most athletic in the NFL. I mean, they do such a good job of filling gaps, shooting gaps. They're great at tackling, right? They're super physical. I mean, watch 54 on this play. It is exactly what you want, right? We're working power. This is the point of attack. You got to stick your nose in there and blow this thing up. Boom. That's exactly what we do. We give enough space. 51 knows exactly where this ball is going. We get in there and make the tackle on fourth and short to stop, or excuse me, I think it was third and short actually in that situation. Now, the other thing is that, and it's weird because I start talking about, being bought into the system, being bought into the program. That's exactly what the Titans are, right? Logan Ryan's going to be the guy who makes the tackle on this play as the Ravens try to run this power option, as I've called it. They do a really good job in this situation of closing things up to the play side of this and getting Logan Ryan in on the back side of it, where he ends up making that tackle. And what I really like about how the Titans go about defending Lamar is that they have a guy for both, right? They have a guy for the running back, which is going to be this dude right here. He's going to end up taking this running back as he goes on this sweep look. And then we also have a guy for Lamar, okay? Now, with Lamar, he's such a good runner that you don't like having one-on-one situations. It makes me nervous. But when you're coaching these dudes and you know how athletic they are, you don't feel too freaked out about it, right? We have this dude who's taking Mark Ingram. We're working upfield with our backer right here. Lamar can see that we've got nothing. And the key to this thing is this backer seeing, all right, Mark Ingram doesn't have that rock. Now I'm going to squeeze this edge, right? Which is exactly what he does. Lamar tries to work this thing backside. Logan Ryan's right there to make the play. Kind of make the play. You get what I'm saying. He's there in the gap. Here's just a view from the end zone of it. Once again, we can see, first off, this dude's calling out the play, knows exactly what's coming. We see that Mark Ingram doesn't have that ball. We're going to squeeze this edge right now, right? We're going to force Lamar backside, which is right into the teeth of that defense. But once again, it's the athleticism from the Titans linebackers that I think puts them in a really good position to beat the Baltimore Ravens again this Sunday, right? We're squeezing this gap right here. Okay, Lamar is going to end up reading this dude. I would imagine it doesn't look like he is, but I'm sure that he is. There he is at the last second. Well, we're in this gap and we're squeezed, which means that he's going to pull it and he's going to try to work around this way. As he pulls it, 51 is ultimately the guy who's supposed to go out and work that way. They end up really kind of gap exchanging. I don't know if that was natural or if that was designed, and they're able to come up and make a play. Once again, Logan Ryan making that play. Now, they don't have Logan Ryan this year, I understand that, but they still have really good corners who are out there and ready to make tackles on the edges of that defense. The other thing is that when they get into third and short, third and long situations, third downs in general, you have to worry about Lamar tucking this thing and running. They do a good job of beating the guard on that. They're also just, once again, these backers are so athletic. When they spy, you can take away some of Lamar's athleticism matched up with this backer's athleticism. Linebackers are some of the most athletic dudes dudes on the face of the planet, to be honest with you, especially these Titans linebackers. This play right here is just kind of showing you guys how fast these dudes are. This is going to be the guy who ends up making this play. He just closes this gap so fast. I had to put this clip in there. There's nothing super crazy about it as far as schematics go, but these dudes are just insanely fast. They know their plays. They do a great job of scouting opponents and doing a great job of putting them in bad situations. So ultimately, what am I saying with this? The Titans do a great job of winning at the point of attack on offense. They do a great job of outnumbering and out-angling the Ravens. And, of course, they have Derrick Henry, who ran for like 190 yards against them last year in the playoffs. But it's not just all Derrick Henry. We have to understand that this Titans offensive line is probably top 5 in the NFL, especially when it comes to running the football. Defensively, what do? They have outstanding backers, and then at the same time, they're able to account for Lamar because of their athleticism, because of how smart and good they are at the linebacker position. There's another really good example of that. We're squeezing right here. What does that mean? Lamar's going to keep it. That's his read key. So we're going to be over the top with these two guys, and then we're also going to chase Lamar down with this defensive end right here, or edge defender. Not necessarily, I wouldn't classify him as DN, but you get what I'm saying. We're going to chase Lamar down with that, and then of course we get the safety and corner help outside on the edges. So ultimately, guys, that's what I'm saying about Lamar. Or excuse me. Ultimately, guys, that's what I'm saying about the Tennessee Titans and how they're going to be able to beat the Baltimore Ravens this weekend. That's kind of the one firm prediction I'm holding that might be a little offbeat from everybody else. That's all I got for you guys today. I'm going to have to edit the hell out of this video, so I'm going to get out of here. Everybody stay safe, wash those hands, and I'll see you next time.